Hey guys, Phaetex here. I'm going to be going over a demo from one of the teams that I coach. If you guys have any questions after watching this, feel free to ask in the comment section, or if you're one of the players on the team, just shoot the question onto the tab on the doc for it. So, there's, I think, 4 demos, but I'm going to cut them up into a separate video. So the first thing I want to talk about here is Sion and Vi don't start on the same side when you have a TP Smite top laner. There's no reason for you guys to be splitting this XP. I could just as easily start bot lane here, do golems red, and then go up to blue, hit level 3 off of blue, and then you guys collectively invade with the double smite. So what Sion wants to do is get Gromp, have the Gromp buff to go to lane with. You can hit level 2 off of it if you want, and you can either back and TP up, or Sion actually might be able to do it to where he can just walk straight to lane afterwards. But you should not be starting Machete top lane. That is pretty worthless. The entire time that you're in lane, this is going to be doing absolutely nothing for you. It's only for monsters, not minions. So that's no bueno. I mean, you can start Flask, you can start Ruby Crystal, Thorn Shield, whatever you want, but not Machete. I know you want to rush the Cinder Hulk as fast as possible, but it just makes you weak in lane. And for Sion, you kind of get away with it because he's just so innately strong in a lane bully. But you could have definitely capitalized better with a different starting item. So what you guys do here, obviously you don't want to be doing this, you don't want to split the XP, and the jungler should generally start in their bottom side buff, regardless of what team they're on, bottom side buff. So that when you hit level 3, you can go between top and mid to choose from ganks, because that's really where the ganks are usually going to be the most available. Your smite priority is fine. It's not too terrible, but like I said earlier, if Sion can do the Gromp, go to lane, have the level advantage, have the Gromp buff to fight Maokai with, he'll easily be able to bully him, and he can push the lane so that when he hits level 2 and Vi is done with the secondary buff, you guys can just straight rotate into their jungle and steal this red, which Zen got. So if we rewind, Zen starting red at like 250, Sion's already level 2, he could have easily invaded. Vi would have been a little higher health, because if you smite, you take less damage than creep, so you would have been higher health, and you could have came in here. And even if you didn't want to like fight him and kill him, you could have, with double smite, it's an easy steal. Bot lane does pretty well throughout this whole game. You guys seem to have just outplayed them though. You were just straight up better than these guys. There are a couple things that I wanted to talk about for your bot lane though. Thresh with exhaust, like exhaust is good if you have anyone on the enemy team that you really need to stop from getting onto your carry, which in this game the only person would be Zen, and that's really only if Zen gets like fed and snowballing. Top lane, you should have warded this by now. You didn't use your trinket ward at all. If you see that your jungler's finished her tier 2 buff, you should think to ward. Now if your Vi had started golems and been going upwards, she could have contested the scuttle and whatnot and got it. I think you can, but you have to be flash, and there's no reason to not use your trinket. Your 4 minutes in, haven't placed it yet, so if you time it, you can usually place it top around like 250, or even all the way up to like 3 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes 10 seconds, depending on who they're playing in the jungle and how fast the clear speeds are, and it'll prevent you from getting ganked right there. Zen could have came top a lot earlier too, because he did scuttle before coming up to make sure that there wasn't going to be a good counter gank coming in, which was good of him, and that's something that you guys should be doing too. I know Vi, I'm going to jump back like 15 seconds here, did scuttle, and that's good. And this is a good reactive invade, because you know that Zen was just top, and so I can go take his jungle, and that's good. But prior to this, before Zen showed himself top, let's see if I can find it. Here, you were going into invade, and you didn't know where Zen was, and you're at half health, and Vi's not particularly good at 1v1ing other junglers early game already, so that was a little dangerous and risky. You probably should have not gone for that. Don't wait to smite so long also when you're just clearing in your own jungle. You got pretty low health at red, and you want smite cooldown to come up as soon as possible so that you can use it for stalkers or whatever you get. You haven't back yet, so you don't have to worry about that yet. But it'll improve your overall clear speed if you do. So, but like I said, good job escaping the skank. Also, when you're getting ganked, pop your health potions. Like, you didn't use your health potions there, and luckily you lived anyway and you didn't need to. Or, I'm sorry, I said you blew flash earlier. You don't even have flash. But pop your pots if you're getting ganked. That's a good habit to do. At around 5:15, right here, you need to be a little more decisive with where you're going. You kind of stutter-stepped here and weren't sure whether you should cover mid for the farm when Ari started pushing, or if you should go top. It didn't really matter what you did. You just need to not waste time stutter-stepping on the map. You need to make up your mind on where you're going to go and just go there, because you don't want to get under-leveled from stalling your decision-making. Like here, you start walking here, then you go back top, and you think about it for a second. I mean, this is a pretty hard game, but MoP did go in right there. The only thing I would say about this is that it's a lot easier to gank. You were already here, you went down here to like think about going to mid for Ari, and you could have just circled through their jungle and gone up. That way you don't risk passing any wards he has in the river here. Thresh, like I said earlier, exhaust can be okay, but in this situation I think it would have been much better for you guys to take Ignite, and we're going to see why in a second here. And your exhaust is good because it prevents Zen from losing here, but if you had Ignite, you wouldn't have needed to tower dive that as hard, and you would have got the kill and backed out sooner. Because the only reason Jinx was low enough here to need an exhaust on the Zen to be saved was because you guys had dived and tank a tower hit. If you had just dropped Ignite earlier, and you didn't even need to do it right there, you actually could have done it earlier on Annie. There was an unavailable kill on Annie. I think it was around here you land a good hook. Let's see if we can find it. But she had gotten away back up. Yeah, right here. So if you had Ignite here, this was pretty much a free kill, and you wouldn't have had to stall and wait so long and go for the kill on the tower, which is the only reason you guys were vulnerable at all. If you had just got the anti-kill with Ignite, you probably could have either pushed and backed, or just reset the lane and zoned Kate with Amy being gone. So, exhaust has its perks, but if you're running Ignite, most of them, in this game at least, you can avoid the need for exhaust. It is good though, so if like they had like a Zed mid or something like that, you would definitely want to bring that exhaust to the table. Jinx needs to use her trinkets for river vision. I know a lot of AD carries can be a little bit hesitant about that. This was a good one, but there are a couple times at like 7 minutes where yours had just expired. You have a pit in the back of drag. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess you thought the enemy jungler might be getting in or something. But try to maintain the vision a little upward, because you want to catch them coming out of here. So instead of warding dragon there, you can just put it right here. Mid laner has been warding top side mostly, but as long as the jungler is contesting this scuttle, you can keep your wards closer to the bottom side around here, or even up here. And if everyone buys like an early pink ward, you can put the pink ward like really deep. Like right here is a good place to put a pink ward before this tower dies. And if you have the time, the jungler can sneak in and put a pink ward right here too, so that it's not a common walkway, so it won't die. It'll last a really long time, but it'll catch a lot of vision on them, like going to their golems and doing red and stuff like that. So it'll let you know what side of the map the jungler is on, even if it doesn't give you eyes on them when they're on the red game. Xerath had a good ult roam at around 7:30, and this was also a good use of the smite. Although you probably could have used the smite a little bit sooner. Definitely good job roaming up here to get the kill and Sion, always take or at least smite Gromp over the lane. There was a lot of times when you just infinitely had smite up and weren't using it for anything other than on Maokai. you need to use it for the gold steroid. That's the only reason that this item is so good, is that the gold steroid is just huge and will put you so far ahead of him. So, and you almost never did Gromp this game, which it's really convenient when you're blue side. If you're red side and you're TP Smite, you mainly just use it to like get Scuttle really quickly or pick up golems for extra gold. As blue side, you should definitely be taking that Gromp, and with that in mind, path accordingly. And just like take the buffs, and she can come up here and take, you know, blue and wolves and Scuttle, and then come back down. Or you guys can invade collectively with the double smite, which is always good when they don't have double smite. So keep that in mind for your future games. I'm gonna reorder these gems real quick. Nice. There was a good collapse bot lane right here, where Sion comes down. The only thing I have to say about this is that Sion, your roams all game long are really good, but they're mistimed. So, like, you come down here, but and your lane is pushing, that's good, but you have, and you guys are a little too hesitant on the drag call. So, it should have happened a little bit faster, and everyone kinda wasn't sure whether you wanted to do it or not. But as soon as you got the kill on Zen, and even the additional kill on Annie, it's definitely free. So just be a little, I'm not sure who the shot caller on your team is, or if you guys really have one, or if it's just like, but, and right here you guys, half of you were fighting and the other half were back. Make sure all of you guys are on the same page, because your Thresh died for nothing when you probably easily could have picked the R kill. I think you guys have need to up here, but I mean Thresh didn't need to die for that. So make sure you guys shouldn't be backing in the pit either. You should all collectively come out of the pit and go back into your jungle one way or the other, and back somewhere much more safe. Otherwise you'll have that half and half decision going on, which is really bad. At 9:15, oh, this is just a general Xerath mechanic I wanted to point out. So here you you QE, or not QE, I'm sorry, you WQ is really what you should be doing. Not when you were farming under your tower here. Because you can instantly cast Q, but W has a cast time. So if you want to like hit minions really quickly, you would want to throw the W out first and then just insta Q. Because here you miss a couple creeps, which like missing a couple creeps isn't a big deal. But as a general mechanic on there, you want to make sure obviously you missed that one. So if you had thrown W first and then hit Q, you would have got all three instead of just the two. And there's probably a couple scenarios where that will play out in team fights as well. Because Q damage doesn't increase as the time, there's only the range. So you can just instant cast it in a lot of situations. Good Jinx right there. I'm gonna start skipping around a little bit more though. But yeah, like I said, Sion, the next time you come bot, you come back with your TP down, but your TP was up in like 15 seconds. So if you had just timed it a little better, stay top a little for a couple, 10 more seconds and then backed and went bot instead of going when you did, you probably could have done that and then TP'd back up immediately to the tower, and just for faster rotation, cleaner transitions. Xerath and Kate need to shot more. There were lots of times in this game when you guys had gold advantages, but had item disadvantages. So, like right here, Xerath is up in gold on Ahri, Jinx is up in gold on Caitlyn, but Kate hasn't got her BF sword yet. But Kate ends up having a BF sword and pickaxe, while Jinx still just has BF. Ahri ends up having almost a full completed item before Xerath goes back and shops at all almost this game. So you guys have the gold advantages and that's good, but if you don't convert your gold into power, then it doesn't do you anything when you guys go to fight or skirmish or even just trade in lane. Also this ward and similar wards, this pink is good, but this pink should be up here. Because right here, even if you're going to put it here, it should be like at the tip of this bush down here to try to catch a ward on the backside of drag pit. But because drag's down, that doesn't need to be there. So put that up here more, so that you have a wider area to clear woods in. Vi, try to use your smite on Wraith more when you're going to gank. Overall, you guys, I think I put on the doc too that no one really buys many pink wards or upgrades their trinkets or anything this game. There's really no need. As soon as you guys start hitting level 9, start upgrading your trinkets. You need more red trinkets as well. Just more vision control. It's really important to deny enemy vision around past, like, once you guys get to the 20-minute mark. You have pretty good map control because you guys snowballed here. Obviously, you're 7-1. But there's a lot of enemy wards that don't get cleared. Like, this is free. Like, you can even see it with your pink ward. Although, actually, you may not be able to because of how far south this pink ward is. I think I have full vision toggle on. But if this pink ward was properly placed right here, you'd definitely be able to sweep that. And this is another common thing that you guys would want to sweep. Like, so, Thresh has Sightstone here. So as soon as your support buys Sightstone, swap your trinket to the red trinket, because there's no reason to have Sightstone and warding totem. Have a de facto cap that you can only place on your wards, so there's really no point in that. You need deeper wards for your split and siege. You guys do really well with, like, making your advantage. So, like, right here with this buff, like earlier, you're down for a little bit longer. They didn't get engaged on, so you could have stalled that game for a little bit longer. You could have, and here Maokai's pushing your tower and you don't quite have TP up yet. So if you had just waited to back and push this a little bit longer, and then you could have backed bot and then went bot with your ult and then immediately back top. Xerath, don't be trigger happy with your ult charges. There's a couple times this game where you just try to insta-fire it and it's a little sloppy and makes you miss, but if your ult stays on for a really long time. That was a good reactive flash too. I think it's actually here. No, it might not be. I usually write the timestamps down on the notes, but I didn't for that one, so oh well. I was hoping to get lucky and catch it right there, but that's alright. But you can hold your charges for a really long time and just completely mind game them when they're coming. It'll make it a lot easier to hit too if you just calm down and take your time to aim. Bot river, like I said, you guys need to clear the wards more. You guys need deeper vision when you group to siege. We'll skip ahead a little bit here. Actually, I think at 11 minutes is what I was talking about. The item shopping. So let's take a look. Yeah, so right here, you guys have Chalice to Needless, and you have BF Sword to BF Pickaxe. And as we can see here, you guys have the gold advantages. You just don't have the item advantages. So make sure you're shopping and converting to power as soon as possible, because your power spikes are important. So, but I want to highlight the big problems we had right here. So, you guys are grouped and trying to siege this, but you don't have any side vision in this area, which is really where you can get flanked from, and you need to make sure that you're guarded, especially when you already have 2 members dead. Or say if Sion's split pushing top like he's about to go do now, you guys definitely need side vision. There's a link on the Google Doc under the learning resources in the first column that has links to like team compositions and things like that. And so like poke siege and flanks, you guys need side vision and deep vision, because you want to know if people are rotating to defend it or not, because if they are, you can counter rotate and just like switch objectives. You guys all need to buy more wards, you need to buy more pinks, you need to upgrade your trinkets. Everyone is level, everyone can buy upgrades if you don't have any. If you get further into the game, you guys don't ever end up getting them. Yeah. So I think the game ends without anyone having an upgraded trinket or having ever bought maybe more than like 1 or 2 pink wards. I think both of your pink wards actually were okay. So here's a pink ward by Jinx, so she got one, and that's good. But mid lane should pretty much always buy a pink ward on your very first back. Same for top lane. Well, you can buy it on your first back, but you can put it up here to make ganks easier, or you can just hold on to it if you feel like you don't have lane control and can't keep discarded. You don't want to put a pink ward somewhere where it's going to die, because then it's a waste of money. You want it somewhere that's not in a common walkway. Like, this pink ward is better than it being here if you were behind and defensive. But if you're ahead, you can pretty much put it here, because if they come to contest and kill your pink ward, that's just an excuse for everyone to collapse and get a free kill and contest an objective. So, but right here you guys have a really good teamfight comp, you have good gauge, Scion and Vi, and you have good backline DPS with Jinx and Xerath. So as long as you guys are engaging on their front line, not their back line, because your carries, while they do a lot of damage, they don't heal very well for themselves, or kite. And Xerath does the most DPS when they're just allowed to like stand still and pump out damage. So make sure you guys are engaging on their front lines and not trying to dive their backline carries, otherwise they're just going to get healed in, or they're going to dive your carries and they're going to be unprotected. But you guys did pretty well here. I can tell that you guys have been playing together for a bit because of how you were, like, your bot lane two or so times, and then you try not to sacrifice anyone for free. A couple of you guys get a little antsy, but that's okay. But I think that pretty much covers it for this one. The main problems you have is just in the super early game. This should never happen. I don't ever want to see that again. Because not only did Scion not get any XP off of that, you didn't even smite it. So you could have smited it just to leash it for her and still went to lane with the Gromp buff at least. But because you don't have to kill it, you just have to use smite on it. You get the buff immediately. Smiting larger monsters instantly harvests. Keep that in mind. So even if you guys, for some reason, if you get like hard invaded and you can invade them and you have to start on the same side of the jungle, at least both smite it so you both have the buff. And then Scion, like I said, ward around 3 minutes or so to prevent ganks so that you don't get too low and get forced out of lane when you don't want to. Don't invade when you have low HP, don't invade when your laners are pushed under their tower. You want your laners to push if you're going to invade. But you guys definitely need to, like, TP Smite is really good, and Scion's a really good champion to use it on, so props for, you know, having that conceptual strategy. But you're not doing anything with it, you're just taking Smite top lane for Cinder Hulk, when you could be using it for the gold steroid to have Gromp up in lane and to double Smite invade their jungle and shut them down. So that's the main thing that we're probably going to work on over a couple of replays. But other than that, like, you guys are playing pretty well together, even if your individual mechanics aren't, you know, high tier. But we'll work on that over time. But past like 20 minutes or so, you guys pretty much have this game in the bag already. At this point, this is 100% your game. So probably just group a little sooner once you realize you have such a huge advantage, so that you can start snowballing your lead. Because right here, they're trying to stall you guys out so that they have time to farm. When you guys don't really need to keep farming, you can just continuously fight at this point because you're so far ahead. So there's really no reason for Jinx to be going bot right here. Your lane wasn't even pushing, this lane was automatically going to push back out by itself. So Jinx could have just been mid and helped mow this tower down sooner. So, but that's the power spikes, and hopefully I can embed a better understanding of that to you guys in the future so that you don't have to call it, you'll just naturally rotate for it. But that's all I wanted to talk about for this replay. I'll go ahead and cut this and start up the next video, and I'll be posting these onto the Google Docs for you guys to watch, and I'll probably still be uploading them to YouTube for everyone from the coaching community. I know a lot of you guys aren't on teams but still want to get this